Hello and welcome back to another Nerf Blaster review video for the channel. My name is Flip-32 and today I am covering the Flip-32. Oh, this is going to be a very interesting video. So, this is a lever action spring powered blaster in the Elite 2.0 sub-series Flipshots, which is something that a lot of people have been talking about for more bad reasons than good. First of all, Elite 2.0. The original line was not received too well. There were one or two blasters that was taken pretty well, the turbine in particular, and people kind of picked off their favourites, like, I don't know, the Spectre replacement, I think it's called the Commander. It's an old blaster for me now, I don't even remember what it's called, but even then, people have been saying, you need to improve the quality of the blasters, and people have been saying this, that, and the other, and when it came to the Flip series, people were interested in thinking, okay, the idea of this style of reload system and firing mechanism is interesting. So this is the third in the Flipshots line. I do not have the Flip 8 or 16. The 8 is a pistol, which, from what I can remember with all the reviews I've seen, actually functions really well. The Flip 16 is this, but half the thickness. I mean, this is a thick boy, my goodness. And that had a lot of firing complications, which people were so upset with, especially seeing how these units here that hold the darts can over-rotate. That is something that I have not experienced. I have experienced a few misfires, and maybe during the firing demonstration later on in this video we might be able to show that off as well. But I have seen other reviews, and I have been able to play with this for a good few hours when I first got this, especially earlier today before I did this video, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. First of all, to make sure I'm not kicking anything as usual when it comes to these Nerf videos, look at this for a blaster. This back half in particular. If you find one of these in Goodwill or a charity shop, even if it's broken, if you're a modder, this shell would be so good for integrations. That stock looks awesome. There's detailing on the sides of the blaster itself. It looks really good. A lot of people have talked about this being a zombie strike potential blaster, and I can absolutely see that. Again, with the pipe, the overall design of it, the fact you've got something crazy going on at the front, it does feel like it could be something that could be cobbled together with that sort of zombie strike theme. But they put it in Elite 2.0 because Nerf and Hasbro want to keep the Elite 2.0 alive despite how rubbish it is. Now then, let's talk about actually firing this thing, because this is the juicy bit. So this is a lever action blaster, which is lovely. The only other lever action blaster I have is the Scavenger, and that is still a lot of fun to play with because lever action blasters are fun, full stop. And now we get to the dart section itself. So this holds 32 darts. We have 8 here, which is 16, and the same on the back sides here. I will show you how to flip those momentarily. If you've already seen reviews, then you basically know what's coming. Now, this is another interesting feature about these blasters, or at least this one. This has a 2-stage trigger. I believe it's called a 2-stage trigger. My kind of blaster is a magazine-fed flywheel blaster, like the regulator I keep down here because that's my baby. I love that much. I love that blaster so much. This is something very different. I have a barrel brake, and in order to do or at least to fire the darts one at a time, you have to do that trick where you put your finger like right all the way into the trigger guard and then slowly ease away that way. Not with this blaster. So if I try and get a bit up close, I need to make sure I'm not shooting at anything that's going to cause things to fall on the floor, because that has happened during test fires before I started recording. So here, I'm going to show you how to fire 2 darts, but one at a time. That's 1. That's 2. So there is a lot of control there in that mechanism. So you can see here, if I go back in, you've got that much to play with first, and then there's a click there. That is the second dart. So you could, if you want to, hang on, just before we do, dart check. Okay, so that is correct. I'm going to fire these off slowly. Some of them will be one at a time, and some of them will be a full trigger pull to be a 2-dart shotgun blast. So let's see, after every after every time I fire, there we go, we're going to check the darts and see how correct it's supposed to look, because people have been complaining that only 1 dart fires, a 3rd dart farts out, and it looks really weird. Again, I've had that, but only in the past like few hours before I started recording this video. I had another play around with it today, and I thought, oh my god, it actually does do that, because the Flip-32 seemed to behave a lot better than the Flip 16, But these issues with how inconsistent the darts are being fired is still starting to appear. This blaster, brand new, is £60 as well. So, you know, knowing what else is out there, is it really going to be worth £60 if it can't even fire properly? Let's have a play test and figure out. So I need to be careful where I'm firing again. So I'm going to try and point about here. Even then, that could work because you should be able to see how the darts are fired. Ah, 2 in 1. Excellent. So, lever action. Lots of fun. And before I begin, volume warning. This is going to get a bit loud. So turn down the volume now. Okay, firing. So, one missing there and one missing there. That is not good. I should be able to still fire those off. Let's see if I can actually do that. One at a time, that is. Okay. Okay. So even then, you can still fire these off. So again, I've only encountered that issue earlier today, and it only seems to appear when you're firing quite fast. So what I'm going to do now is reload, and this is how you reload, by the way, which is really cool because the flip system has its own kind of gimmick, and of course it makes sense for it to do so, but I love seeing it work. So there is a little lever on both sides of this foregrip that keeps it in place. You switch it downwards, again it's ambidextrous, I'm activating the lever on this side with my thumb. That goes downwards, and then, yeah, that's pretty cool. So I just did that on purpose, not to play with, but to demonstrate that you can do this gently and not over-rotate the system. On the Flip-16, with some reviews, it's so obvious that they're yanking that front handle really hard, on purpose making these front dart systems over-rotate. I get that in the kind of the throes of a Nerf battle, you're going to go, right, I put a lot of power into that. But even then, it's not necessary. If you've got proper control and discipline, you can still achieve that with less power. I mean, one more time, again, a volume warning, I probably should have said this as well, I do apologise. So, yanking it, obviously that's going to cause a problem. If you behave, less effort, no issues. I don't like it when people do that with the flip blasters because you're purposely giving it a problem, which is something that can be avoided. Now, of course, other people are still going to yank it anyways because that's just how they Nerf. I mean, I don't disrespect that. But even then, if you know how to behave when it comes to using a blaster in the first place, you're not going to come across these issues. So I'm going to do another firing test, and I'm going to fire both darts off at the same time per shot. I'm going to see if I can keep these consistent. Purposefully, I'm going to go slower. So with that logic, every time a dart is fired off, it should be matching on both ends, and there should be no darts farting out or any darts kind of being missed or anything like that. So, here we go. Okay, that went much better. And there are darts. Oh, there's actually only a few darts here. They're all behind and down the stairs. My goodness. Tell you what, speaking of the darts, people have been saying this should be a Zombie Strike themed blaster. Why did they give us Zombie Strike green darts then? I mean, I don't know, it's just a bit weird. But ultimately, that is a lot of fun. Lever action is really cool. Shotguns are fun. And I love how this grip is sturdy. This switch is what allows you to rotate the mechanism in the first place. So keeping that in place to prevent you from rotating it when you're trying to fire is brilliant. I don't know if this was a thing on the Flip-32. Sorry, on the Flip-16. Again, that's a blaster I don't have, and I've only seen reviews of it. So again, don't take my word for that. But even then, for this entire system, it's fun. It really is fun. So now we come to my purchase recommendation for the Flip-32. This is a bit of a weird one, and it kind of feels a bit backhanded. So this is Elite 2.0, and when people think about the Elite 2.0 line, they think of the low quality budget line of blasters that first came out in 2020. Understandably so, because I think the turbine was the only one that people actually liked. Even then, you could feel the cheapness of the quality and the plastic and the overall fit and finish of all of those blasters. With this being labelled Elite 2.0, straight away you're going to think to yourself, oh, I don't want to touch that. Another turning off point is this is 60 quid. Now, that's a lot of money, especially in comparison to other blasters that you can get. You can go on eBay and get some good blasters for a third of the price of this. But this is something quite unique. Again, I don't think I've ever seen a blaster that has this sort of functionality before. This is 32 darts, by the way. That is a lot of ammo. And that is pretty damn cool. The reload time is going to cost you the rest of the match. But when you just hold it like this, I mean, look at this. This is cool to look at. It's cool to fire. It's so much fun. But at 60 quid, I don't think it's worth it. It's, again, that's the backhanded part because it's just so expensive. If you find one of these brand new in a toy store that's on a discount, sure, give it a purchase. Why not? Because I objectively don't have any reason against it. You did see a few darts kind of misfire the first time round, but even then, that's not too much of an issue because you can still fire those off. It's annoying, sure, but it's not exactly consistent. It was consistent with the Flip-16, but that's not a blaster that I own, and therefore I can't give much of an opinion on that. So, ultimately, yes, I for one would say that is a blaster worth purchasing. But try and wait for it to go on a discount because, again, 60 quid is just so much money. Oh, man. I, for one, truly believe that Elite 2.0 is still on the right path to making better blasters. These Flipshot blasters that have come out in recent weeks are much better than what came out last year. There's no argument. The overall quality is better. You can debate the Flip-16 as the worst one, of course, because, again, other people have made those reviews and have made the demonstrations as to why that is the case. But still, I believe Elite 2.0 is slowly but surely getting better. So with all that said and done, I've got a lot of darts to go and pick up. It's going to take a long while. I've got to put them back in the blaster as well, because the dart box is tucked away over there, I think. Oh boy, but all the same, thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.